All right, welcome to Sad Klocki Hour number 5. It's I guess it's kind of like a swan song in a way, ain't it? If a swan's song is a podcast for people who don't have enough Lego. This is a good podcast that you guys enjoy. It's been a little while since we've done one, but I've got a whole list of topics here. I'm just gonna run through them real quick in no specific order, and then I'll go into all of them one at a time, and we'll talk through and so on. So we got Blizzard. A lot of drama there. A lot of drama there. Pick-a-brick cups. 1x5 pieces. Specifically, more colors now. It comes in the Sonic Ideas set. LDD is dead. We got some Lego leaks to talk about potentially. Am I even going to talk about that? Who knows? Video is dead. And of course, we have no guest this episode. So there are more people out there that have enough Lego than you might imagine, I guess. As always, this is not a comprehensive dive into these topics, it's just kind of me rambling at the microphone, and you guys can enjoy the maximum amount of knowledge that I have, but also my hot takes. Sure. So, Blizzard. This is let's start with Blizzard. So, big news in the gaming world. Blizzard Activision is being acquired by Microsoft. I guess I could have done more research and checked if it actually got purchased or not, but Microsoft, the people behind Windows, they're looking to buy Blizzard, who owns Overwatch. That's the brand that owns Overwatch, and you may remember the 2019 theme, Lego Overwatch. Um, pretty. I would say bad, but it was just late. I don't know. It's weird. Let's just do it. Let's just do the whole. Let's do the whole song and dance for you guys, because I don't know how much you know as a real ancient fan out there. I assume you do, but maybe you don't. So, Lego Overwatch came out significantly after the game. I believe the game was launched in 2017, maybe it was 2018 even, but either way, a year at least, a year plus after the video game came out, and that means that its sales were going to be, the peak of hype was right as the game came out and all that. And so the sets came out a little late, and there were some exclusive ones only available, one exclusive one only available on Blizzard's website, I believe. So that's also weird for Lego collecting and stuff. But Overwatch 2 has been rumored for a while now, and the game was supposed to come out in, I believe, 2020, but then it got moved to 2021, and it's not out yet here in 2022. This is the first episode of 2022, by the way, so isn't that fun for all the sad Klocki Hour enthusiasts who've been waiting? So in 2022, currently it's not out, the game, the video game, but the set's not out either. And the set had been reported as being delayed as Lego looks into the situation because Blizzard has been having some, I guess, I guess it's mostly sexual harassment allegations. I'm not going to be the one to say that they did it. From my viewpoint, it looks pretty damning, the evidence, but like innocent until proven guilty, which here and there, everyone has their own opinion on it. Basically, I believe it's summed up as it was a frat house type culture in the game development studio for several different games, I guess, and just a systemic problem throughout there. There were some firings, there were some characters. One of the characters that we got for Lego Overwatch, the first one, his name has been changed because it was named after someone that was part of these issues. So that's wild, right? But you've got all this bad press, the game being delayed, all this stuff happening, and now they're getting bought, and the set's been delayed. There's only one Overwatch 2 set that we're aware of. It's um, is it Tracer in May? I know it's May, and everyone's like, "Oh, we haven't got a May minifigure yet. We need this set." Versus a giant robot, Titan or something. It's a giant mech. It's kind of boring, honestly. from my point of view. But and I mean, I like space and I like sci-fi themes just fine, but it's just a big boring robot. Nothing really super special. The minifigures look fine, but eh. All the minifigures in Overwatch look fine. Anyway, so the big thing here is that Lego was like, well, there's a lot of questions about Blizzard that we're not really sure. So we're not they're not sure that they want their name associated with Blizzard's name, but the set had been packaged, produced, obviously produced, packaged, and shipped out to stores. And some people got their hands on it because it was supposed to have a February 1st launch date. And I think it was originally supposed to even be sooner, but it, got pushed back to February 1st, and now it's delayed while they review the situation. So the thing here is that Lego saw this bad press come out and said, nah, 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 we're gonna keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward. And then the set gets like leaked or revealed. I think it got leaked first and then it got revealed. But then people were specifically on certain discussion boards uh, very upset by this news. And can you separate the art from the artist? That's always a huge question, And I'm not the one to answer that for you. But the set's already been produced. Lego came this far. They saw no problem with it until people started saying, "Hey, wait a minute, we're not happy with this." And that's completely fine that people have their opinion. I'm not even saying they shouldn't. But I'm saying is that Lego needs to stop being so wishy-washy on this whole thing. Is the same thing that happened with the Technic Osprey. That's the vertical takeoff airplane model thing. That it had a huge design flaw. So we're not going to even talk about that one. But it got canceled after being produced because of a small protest. I believe the protest that I saw and the rumors that I've heard is it was literally two people protesting outside of a store somewhere in Europe about it being a military vehicle. And they're right. It's a military vehicle 100% of the time, basically. Basically 100% of the time, it's a military vehicle. Is it used for search and rescue? It could be. It was an option at some point. I don't know if it ever got used as such, but it existed, and that's the version they were going to make, not the attacking and blowing things up version. But Lego went through with all of the steps of designing it, all of the steps of producing it, all the steps of packaging and shipping it out to stores, and then said, "No, please don't sell it." And this is happened to this too. So this set's going to be, unless it gets a full release, it may. This one's not been canceled; it's just been, postponed while they review the situation. It's going to become a very expensive set to own because people are going to be like, well, I like Overwatch and I've got to get this set and it's not going to be made, but it was at stores and possible to be sold. And here's the thing, right? Like, I don't know what the like, what is it? The contracts, I guess. I don't know how the distribution of money goes from a Lego set with a licensing, but I assume that it's paid. Well, I was going to say, I assume it's paid up front, but maybe it's per unit sold or something. So now I'm saying is I figure Blizzard has already got their money out of this set. That Lego said, here's a bunch of money so we can use your thing, your license. We're going to make this many sets. And even if it wasn't based on how many sets, or wasn't an upfront fee, it's got to be on the set sold. And like the story I've heard is that some mom and pop toy stores around the world have gotten this set because they paid money to Lego to get a shipment of Lego sets, and this was one of the Lego sets they paid for. So if they paid that money to Lego should be giving that money to Blizzard already. I don't assume that Blizzard's going to be like, oh, well, never mind, you didn't mean to sell it. Okay, never mind, just don't, we're good. Don't send us money for our product. But no, this set's out there in the wild. Blizzard's going to get money from it, so it's the damage has already been done. If Lego doesn't want to make sets in the future because they don't support Blizzard, that's fine. If they want to do sets in the future because they're like, oh, it's Microsoft now. Speaking of, is Microsoft going to just sweep the whole thing under the rug and say, oh, no, 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 we're Microsoft, good wholesome Microsoft, with Bing, and we control Cortana on your computer, so we're the good people. You can trust us with Overwatch. Who knows? I don't know if that's going to happen. It could happen, it could not. But the point is I feel like Lego's already done the damage by selling the set to stores. And I don't know what percentage of stores got it, and I don't know how much money that is. And again, is if they cut it off now, if they say, okay, we're not selling the set, those ones that got out there, they've got to keep up their end of the contract. I assume the end of the deal that they made with how much money to give Blizzard has to be upheld. But yes, they could stop it from being widely sold, and therefore, $10 goes to Blizzard instead of 100. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. But that's I'm interested to hear if you're on YouTube watching this. This is probably the one story I want to hear people's opinions on, and maybe we'll do a revisit of this in the next episode. But it's such a complicated issue, and again, Lego pushed through so far to it before they were like, oh, this is a complicated issue, and I think that's kind of indicative of just how Lego's been lately. Which, good or bad, that's up to you, ain't it? So. I think that covers basically everything to do with Blizzard for now. So I think we'll move on. I think that's that pretty much. Oh, this is a fun one. Speaking of, we got a couple of obituaries. I was going to say more obituaries to talk about this episode. But let's go into the first one, which is Vidiyo has died. They've officially canceled Vidiyo, and this kind of this kind of feels like it's related, right? Like it feels similar to me that this is kind of similar to the Blizzard situation where they didn't listen to the fans. It was actually, I don't know if any of you guys watch Mardi Gras Man 2-3, Brick Trains and Brick Czar have a podcast, and it's the A Fool podcast, adult fan of old Lego podcast. And I'm like a year behind. So like if you're caught up, no spoilers for me, thank you. But it's all topical stuff. But they at the beginning of 2021 were talking about Vidiyo, and maybe the end of 2022. I don't know. They were talking about Vidiyo as a theme, and they didn't think it was going to work. And it's so funny here in 2022 where Lego has announced that they're canceling Vidiyo. Vidiyo it was going to be postponed for a year, and then they were going to bring it back in 23 or so. is what the official last word before this was that I heard, and that's fine and dandy. They can say, hey, we're not doing it for another year. We're going to retool the idea, and I think it'll be good. And maybe they would have been right. I couldn't tell you, but that's not what's happened. They've now completely officially killed the theme. And it's one of those things that, like, have we talked about Vidiyo on the podcast? I feel like we haven't. Anyways, speaking of sad things, it's got potential. It's an app that lets you make little music videos, is what they're calling it, but it's basically makes TikToks with Lego figures using a very small library of music. But then it's moderated before it goes on the internet. So like you're not going to be able to post nudes, and you're not going to be able to post people in general, and you're not going to be able to post all kinds of other, things that parents wouldn't want their children doing with TikTok. And in that regard, if it's the problem is though is that, hey, do a fun little dance in front of the camera and get famous. That's the TikTok promise. There's all these creators that I can't even tell you their names because I don't even actually know them, but they did dances and they got audiences, and now they're rich, and some of them aren't rich, they're just having a good time on the internet. That's fine too. But you can't put people in the videos, the recordings. You can't have live people, and you can only have your minifigures dancing, and your minifigures aren't going to be able to dance any specific way that's exclusive to you. You're not like unlocking special. I mean, I guess you could put them in a combination no one else has done, like move A, move B, move C, move E, move D, instead of A, B, C, D, E. And like, whoa, that looks crazy. And like, of course, you're scanning in the minifigure, so that's kind of fun. But like, you can only scan in minifigures that are from the theme. You can't use like classic ones. You can't use. You can make like your own sig fig in that, I believe, which that's kind of fun. And you can unlock some different costume options and switch them out with the Vidiyo characters plus the sig fig that you made. But it's again, it's kind of generic parts and all related to Vidiyo. But where was I going with this? Oh, it's dead. So the point being that it's never going to be TikTok from the very beginning. And yes, the other podcast I mentioned, the A-Full podcast, they're older gentlemen. They're ancient fans of Lego like you and me. And they saw it coming. They said this is going to be a failure, and it was. And I there's a geez, I could tell you the name of the podcast. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But Lego has a podcast where they do um it's it's basically it's propaganda. It's because there was also an episode about something else. What was it? It's our Lego story from the Lego group, hosted by Julie and Lauren, and it's a fine podcast. I'm not going to say it's not even a fine podcast. Looks like the last episode was in October of 2021, though. September, October, July, June, May. So, anyways, um, Masters of Reinvention was an episode they did. They did an episode on video, though. Hmm. I don't see it here now. Is it possible they took it down? Anyways, the episode that I'm referencing was about video. Um, there's an episode about doing digital relationships, which is okay, whatever. And there's a bricks making Lego bricks sustainable. Anyways, they're like 20-minute podcasts. It's a fun little one, and the people on it are definitely personable. The hosts like them a lot. But there was an episode about okay, yeah, the first episode is Masters of Reinvention, and it talks about the Lego turning 89 years old in February last year, and the like launch of video and like the big partnership between Universal Music Group and like how excited they were for it. And I was listening to it, and I was listening to this probably it was several months ago now, but video wasn't doing well at that time. That was the middle of last year, and like I said, it launched at the beginning of last year, early last year, and I could already see that like this propaganda. They were like, look at all these great ideas we have for the thing, and like most of those weren't realized or were just bad ideas from an outsider's point of view. And again, I wouldn't even barely call myself an outsider. I'm one of the most powerful Lego builders on the planet, aren't I? And and you guys out there all are acquainted with the brick. You guys understand the product. You understand, things that I feel like Lego should be able to see. And the disconnect between some of these things, video died because they brought it to life. Like it didn't die because fans didn't like. Well, I guess you could say fans didn't like it, but it didn't die because it was a good product that was, done dirty. It was a bad product done bad, done dirty. There was no saving video. I don't believe. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe there was some just one minor tweak that would have made the whole thing, but I don't see where that play was. Now, if you had done a maybe a potentially completely different app, I guess that would be one small tweak, but that's a big tweak because the app was supposed to be friendly for kids. And being able to dance with your minifigures and like have that video for yourself would be really cool, but you could only see them in the app, because you couldn't download them until they get approved. And I guess you could potentially screen record or something and steal the video out of it or something, but that's too advanced for children. And hey mom, look at this cool dance I did with the DJLLAMA. We're best friends. Put this on your Facebook. Okay, little Timmy, let's put this on my Facebook for your grandparents to see. And then your grandparents buy you video because they could see that you were enjoying it, right? No, you couldn't do that. Like that's a pretty, I guess that's a pretty easy tweak, ain't it? Just let people download the video. Anyways, DJLLAMA is dead. Rest in peace. He didn't he didn't get a chance. He never had a chance. Um, Speaking of never got a chance, the app will be up for 2 more years. They're going to support the app for 2 more years. So that means if you bought the tiles and you want to scan them and make your little minifigures dance and stuff, you can do it. But again, unless they changed the app just recently to allow you to steal the videos out to record and download videos, you can't do that without moderation. And so they're supporting it, but are they going to be approving videos to be posted? Are they going to add new music? Obviously, they're not adding any new moves to it, new dance moves, because those were all locked to the physical tiles that you got in the random packs and the beat boxes, I believe. But rest in peace, video. I feel like, yeah, like I said, I feel like Lego, maybe it's because their European sensibilities are a little bit different than the rest of the world, or even my American sensibilities. But like, saw it coming, didn't think it was going to work great, and then circling back on the Blizzard thing, is that why it's why did you wait so long? Like, both of these things feel like you're very disconnected with the youth, and not even just the youth, just the general sentiment of people that are into your product. Um, and maybe, are they just getting lucky? Is everything that worked just luck because they have no idea what they're doing, or are these just calculated risks that don't pay out? I guess because people seem to like the Mario game, the Super Mario game, fine, but the video app didn't work, and obviously Overwatch is completely, it's an esport. It's a flat out, Blizzard is pushing this to be an esport, um, which I think is the only theme they have as such. There's, I guess, the My First Lego League, the robotics competition that they do is like a, I wouldn't exactly call it an esport, but it's like a competitive format. I don't know. I just feel it feels out of touch, right? Doesn't it? It feels a little bit out of touch. So, speaking of obituaries, we have one more to talk about, and that is LDD, Lego Digital Designer. So, if you've been around, this program's verging on 20 years old at this point, according to the press release that I read, and they did a very nice little write up. The Lego Group did for LDD. It's the digital building. It's the most popular, I would say. Well, was the most popular, is the most popular. It's a very popular Lego building program on the computer, and I believe it has a Mac version, so it's Windows and Mac. It's definitely not on Linux, in case you were wondering. But most people have access to this digital building program, so you can digitally build with your bricks. And it hasn't been updated in 3 years or so now. Well, I think it got an update. It's been unsupported. It's been kind of just end of life for quite a while. And I said day one when the Lego Group announced that they were buying Bricklink, I said they're doing it for that studio software, the Stud.io digital Lego building software. Is it's not it's not better than LDD, but LDD. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm the best at programming, but I went to college for programming and such, and I didn't finish. Thank you, F in chat for that one. But all my professors said programming is, I took C++, which is similar to C and C sharp and so on. But basically all of them said is if you want a really high paying job with a ton of stress, is you go into software maintenance. Old software that was made in the 80s and huge corporations still run on today, and it's limped along, one patch after another to make it work. And it's, more and more difficult to work on every year. But that's where the big money in programming could be potentially. And I don't know that. I guess that's still the way it is, but I assume it is. Banks are running software that's decades old. Why does it take them an entire day to like take down the bank servers and we're going to do maintenance? It's because it's ancient software that only two people in the world can actually work on, right? So the point that I'm getting at here is that LDD is getting to be 20 years old. They don't want to work on it. It's not up to date with the current computers. It works on Windows 10 and 11, I assume. And it works on my current computer, which is Windows 10, I think. I don't even know because so disillusioned by all the Microsoft stuff. But I do like Minecraft, and I don't hate Microsoft. Like, I don't know. That's not what we're talking about. But we're saying is that the program runs on modern software or modern hardware. So, but it could, it needs a big revamp. It needs a big revamp, and Lego Group didn't want to do that. They said, let's just buy Stud.io. Let's get Studio from Bricklink, and maybe they didn't actually say that, but That's my conspiracy theory, and you can't. Well, maybe you could. If you can convince me otherwise, please. I would love to hear that. I'll get you on the podcast. We'll do some back and forth. It'll be great. But LDD is officially over as of January 31st. They're taking down the landing page. I don't think you can navigate on their website to LDD. You just have to know where it is, which is like lego.com/LDD, I think. But that page is going to be gone here in a couple days, and you won't be able to download it. And of course, if you have it, the program will still work. It's not getting updates anyways. It hasn't got an update in quite a while, but it's a very user friendly, easy to build with program, and it's got a fair amount of powerful features that just work and are nice. LDD, of course, it's. I would say that there's a fair amount of problems with LDD and collision testing and so on and so on that are causing modern sets to have slight issues. And we can go into that some other time. But no, I will not elaborate. um, but Studio has a lot of community support, first of all, and second of all, a little bit more powerful features. You can just straight up download a 3D file and pull it into, or make a 3D file and pull it into Studio and make a sculpture out of it. And is it the perfect sculpture? No, you're gonna have to go in and tweak it. But like, if I want to make something, if I want to make a giant cat girl, all I got to do is go onto the internet, download a file, and bam, there's my sculpture to make, and it's doable and it builds and it's fine. It's got integration to Bricklink, which is very strong because it also tells you if a piece does or does not exist, and then also it warns you, hey, this is an expensive piece, and then we'll let you. It's got a button to suggest alternatives, so like that's really cool. If there's more modern versions or just something else that's a similar shape, it's fun to be able to have those options. So the studio is definitely good, and I know that I've seen a lot of people kind of, I would say, knee jerk reaction, honestly, but they heard LDD's dead and they said, I'm never gonna stop using LDD. I'm gonna use it forever. LDD is my best friend. Studio can die, and then other and silly things basically. And I don't think they're wrong for liking LDD, but the digital designer is it doesn't have all the modern parts, and there's definitely parts, and there's parts that aren't in Studio, mind you. Like, don't take me saying that Studio is more up to date and whatever, is it's perfect. But if Lego would put some official support in there, a little bit more so, it could be a really great program. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. Actually. And if we're like really, really lucky, we might even see them do some kind of like legacy mode in Studio for LDD esque commands. One of the things, and it's a personal thing, is that I think there's too many fan colors running around. People saying, "Oh, this is old gray and this is new gray," and blah blah blah. I like to use the Lego official colors because then I know what I'm talking about. So you've got old gray and old medium gray, but well, they're medium. I mean, isn't that's a big thing. The light gray was used in like mosaic sets briefly, but I don't think it ever got wide use. But like stone gray, it's dark stone gray and medium stone gray. Those are the current gray colors that you get, the two of them. It's not light gray, it's medium. And is that a pedantic thing to worry about? Yes, but in Studio, it has um, the fan names, the Bricklink names, which are not correct. And that's a whole thing, trying to update Bricklink to get its users to like update and understand the real colors from Lego. And it's Lego's fault 100% because they didn't tell you the list. But if you go on like Pick a Brick on their website and you sort by colors, you can see the colors of pieces, and that uses the official Lego name, which I think just avoids a little bit confusion. LDD does use the official names of colors, which is nice. Anyways, that's my only real big reason. And then of course I've used LDD for, again, almost 20 years at this point. So using Studio, there's a lot of things I try to do and I mess up, and I'm like, oh wait, that's an LDD thing, ain't it? Anyways, so Rest in peace, Vidiyo and LDD, Lego Digital Designer. Long live Blizzard and Microsoft, I guess, and Bricklink Studio. So I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Hopefully, we get some sponsors. If you're hearing this, and there's no sponsor immediately after, just do a cool little trick in my honor. Pour some out for my no monetization. So ideally, the podcast is around an hour in length, and I feel like the second half of this hour is going to be a little short. Just the topics we got to run through. We can always add more, right? But we've got only a couple things here, and here and there. But let's start. Let's start with an easy one. The 1x5 it's in the Lego Ideas Sonic set. So the 1x5 is a controversial piece to begin with. If you're not aware, for decades now, there's been a joke that sweaty, greasy Lego builders at conventions with no deodorant on talk about finding their 1x5 brick and living happily ever after. And 1x5 refers to something non-existent, and that's typically been to refer to a cute girl that's into Lego and so on and so on. But it's an old joke, and it's not terribly funny at this point, is it? But Lego has produced a 1x5 plate. They've also produced a 1x5 brick that's 2 bricks tall that they printed Unikitty's face on. So it's not like we haven't had a 1x5 before, but 1x5 is a joke still. In the older fans will remember it, and if you don't remember it, it's such an obscure thing that you're not missing out on very much. But Lego for decades decided they could have made a 1x5 plate, brick, whatever. They could have made a 1x5. There was no reason they couldn't. They can make anything they want, with very limited exceptions, I'd say. But they didn't. It wasn't necessary. They've got 1x2 and a 1x3, and you make a 5. And if you're building, just a stack of those, you spin it around the other way, 1x3, 1x2, and it interlocks, and it's fine, and it's beautiful. There's the only thing that you would need a 1x5 for is 5 different pieces being attached sequentially, really. And now that's not to say that a 1x5 doesn't offer more support, because you don't have you don't have 2 pieces, and therefore if you were to use that to hold up something else that was an odd shape, even just 2 pieces, if you were to take a 1x2 and a 1x3 and put them on a 1x5, it's going to be more stable, just because of the 3 pieces versus 4 pieces if you're using the other combinations, right? Like it's not unusable, it's not irredeemable, it's fine. But it, like, if someone came up to you and was like, hey, I'm going to design a Lego set, right? And I need this 1x5, you'd be like, okay, I'm impressed. But then when you see it just kind of like peppered in just because it's there, you're like, what did you need that for? Could you not design it a different way? And I don't know. I'm not even really trying to destroy the progressive people at Lego that are making new parts. And if a 1x5 had come out when I was 10 and I lived with it my entire life, and I'm an old man at this point now, and I'm like looking at the 1x5, I'm like, yes, I remember the micro, the blowhorn, and the little the tri-speaker rocket boosters, and yes, the 1x5, yes, those are great pieces, I love all these classic pieces. I would probably have a very different outlook on it if it came out then, is what I'm saying. But because it came out as an adult and I can like see things, is I worry every time a frivolous Lego piece comes out. Everyone who's been around for a long time remembers the restructuring in the early 2000s, the mid single digit 2000s, where they were like, we're going to reduce the number of colors, we're reducing the number of pieces, and we're going to stop using big specialty pieces that are expensive to produce. And the 1x5 isn't a big specialty piece to produce, but it's a weird specialty piece that you've never needed. And again, Lego is almost 100 years old. Is 100 years old this year? 75 years old? Huh. It's 100, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's 100 years old. Anyways, for 100 years, and they haven't been making the bricks for 100 years, have they? But for 100 years, because that sounds like a very strong argument. Um, for 100 years, they haven't needed a 1x5, and here we are. They need a 1x5 now. It's weird. It's suspicious. Like I think most people can see where that would be like, that is weird that we would need the 1x5 here now. And it's the same thing with those like 99, 2000, 2003 when they had those huge big vehicle bases that they were using, and they remind me a lot of the juniors vehicle bases, but they've used that a bunch, the juniors one. And I would say that the juniors one isn't nearly as offensive because you're using it as kind of a Duplo bridge, so it has to be kind of big and chunky and simple. But those early 2000s ones, those were getting weird, and like at the time I didn't exactly notice it, but like as an adult I see it and I say, wow, yeah, that was a poor choice, wasn't it? That's a wild big piece, and it's so weird to use, and it's got to be expensive to make. And what did it serve? You could just put a plate and some axles, and it does the same gimmick, right? So I don't know, when I see pieces as such with the 1x5, and again, you can look up where it's used in the instructions for the um, Sonic set, is I don't think there wasn't any other way to do it. Maybe they couldn't have done the same exact thing to the standards they were looking for or something, or they would have had to redesign some things slightly around it or something. I don't know. But I don't think it was necessary. Do you think it was necessary? I don't. So 1x5, it's not. It's upsetting. It's upsetting, but it's not like it's irredeemable. It's just like, hey guys, what do we do here on Side Clocky Hour? We get sad about stupid Lego things and we talk about them, don't we? So like, you know, is a 1x5 going to cause the downfall of the entire company? I don't know. I shrugged at the microphone. You couldn't see it. All right. So now that we've got that very depressing topic out of the way, I'm just gonna write a little check here. And Pick-a-Brick cups. Ooh, this is a fun one. Pick-a-Brick cups went up in Europe, I believe. I don't know the exact countries, and I couldn't tell you the exact amount, but I was told that it was 25% increase in price of Pick-a-Brick cups. Now, Pick-a-Brick cups are, of course, the way you get Pick-a-Brick, which is when you go to the Lego store and they've got the entire wall of random Lego parts, and they let you put whatever you want into a cup, and then you pay one flat rate for the cup, and you have a very good deal. Everyone agrees that it's probably the most efficient way to get Lego, especially new Lego. Getting bulk used Lego, you can probably find yourself some better deals, perhaps. But the best way to get the maximum amount of bang for your buck, and especially if you're trying to build a specific project, is to go with the Pick-a-Brick. And I think everyone here, I don't think that's a controversial statement. I will say is that Legoland, Florida, at least, and I believe all the Legolands. Um, Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Use by weight. They give you a bag and they charge you by weight, which is potentially more efficient even because the price for the cup is if you put one piece in the cup and you take the cup, it's full price. If you put one piece in the bag, you're paying for exactly the weight of that piece in the bag, right? So like you could say like, oh, I'm doing a project and I just need 5 pieces, so the Pick-a-Brick cup isn't the most efficient way, but that's not the point. The point is that you're always going to need more Lego. This is the podcast for people without enough Lego. So you can't even, if you made it this far into this episode, and assuming you've listened to the other 4 episodes, you need more Lego. And like, I'm not going to convince you don't. But the point is that the efficiency of being able to get a huge amount of brand new pieces, exactly the pieces you want. And of course, you can go on Bricklink and buy pieces, and maybe they're even cheaper per piece, but then you've got shipping and you've got to wait, and the instant gratification is beautiful, great. I love Pick-a-Brick cups. But the price going up 25% is a little steep. I don't know what the prices were before, but anything going up 25%, like when the Dollar Tree just recently stopped being $1 for everything, that's $1.25. That's, you know, every $5 you spend, that's one less item. So it's the same thing, is that every 5 Pick-a-Brick cups you would have got last year, now you're only getting 4 Pick-a-Brick cups. And like 4 to 5, it's one, but it's a big difference when you're trying to be economical about Legoing. And I don't believe Lego has offered an official explanation as far as I'm aware. Again, this is a very well detailed and highly researched podcast, so I'm glad that you're all here for it. But Lego hasn't given an official reason for the um, price increase, and do they have to? No, they don't have to tell us anything ever, But it would be nice if they at least were like, "Hey, we, the cost of producing bricks has gone up. We're working more on sustainable um, damn, what were they plants from plants where those cost more, so we put them on the wall for you, so those are going to be a little bit more expensive now because they're part of the things, or the something, just give us hey, Lego is expensiver this year. And I mean Lego's been getting more expensive, everyone agrees, right? Sets are getting fewer and fewer pieces with smaller pieces and stuff. um I guess more big sets too, though, aren't there? Anyways, the point being, listen, I'm not here to argue the economics of producing Lego. I'm just saying they got more expensive. It's going to be a big hit, and I know that if I went to the Lego store, instead of the $15, is it 15? Is it 16? Maybe I don't even know. If they charge me $20 for the big Lego cup, I'm going to be upset. Is what I'm saying. You say, hey, $20 for that, please. That's a full full big $20 bill just to fill up a cup with some random stuff. And usually this is me. And like I said, always can use more Lego. Always are going to need more Lego. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm not going to ever need more Lego, so I just give me half a cup. But I fill up half a cup with parts I need, and I'm like, that's the pieces I need. Let's see what pieces I kind of want, and these are the fun pieces. But like ultimately, just because it's a good deal is why I'm getting more pieces. Um, I might be more stingy if the price goes up, and I know that you know that could maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is to push people away from pick a brick, because I assume Lego's still having production issues. Everyone's having production issues, right? So if they're just like, hey, let's just slow that one down so we can keep the store looking very pretty and full of Lego bricks on the wall, and maybe they'll pick up another set instead because the set will be a little bit better deal now. Maybe that's the plan. And who knows? Maybe they'll revert the price change. Maybe the price change is going to come everywhere. I couldn't tell you, but I thought that was an interesting news that I hadn't heard reported anywhere else. So if you made it this far into Side Klocki Hour number 5, you got a secret special news that only the ancient fans of Lego know about. And then the last big one that I wanted to talk about was leaks, and I don't have a whole big list of leaks, but we can talk about just a couple little rapid fire things, and then we'll go into a little bit more. But um, speaking of video games and Lego, because we talked about that at the beginning of the podcast, so we'll end with video games and Lego at the end of the podcast. Uncharted is a very mature, no, I don't know, a fairly mature video game series with a knockoff Indiana Jones esque character, but it's not even really because he's Nathan or whatever, and he does adventures too. He's not trying to be Indiana Jones exactly, but it's kind of an Indiana Jones type vibe if you're not aware of the gaming scene. But he's a little grittier. Indiana Jones is fairly gritty. Speaking of, there are Indiana Jones rumors floating around. I don't know how true any of this is, but apparently the Uncharted leaks were made by a single user in the Lego Ambassador network, the LAN, not the lug. Um, in the LAN, in the Lego Ambassador network, a user, and I don't even know his name actually, do I? Well researched podcast, I swear to you. He said, I want to make a fake leak, and Lego was like, cool, go ahead. And the leak spread pretty well. There were going to be some sets about this thing, and I even just saw one this morning. I saw one, and it's been debunked that these were all fake, but maybe they're not all fake. I don't know. The point being is that a lot of people make their entire career on reporting about leaks, and they're willing to take anything to just keep that hype wave going. So And when someone makes a leak and they're like 95% correct or even 50% correct, you're like, wow, that was really accurate, and I'm going to go back to them. So just by saying, oh, there are going to be sets based to this video game series, and then one comes out and they're like, well, told you. So it'll be interesting to see how that drama plays out. But apparently they were all fake, and that's wild, ain't it? So on to real leaks, quote unquote, real leaks. There are coming this summer are Lego City Farm sets, and supposedly there's going to be three of them. I can't imagine three in a wave. That seems really small, but these are the three that were leaked-ish. There's a 100-ish piece set, and it's going to have a chicken coop with a red roof. I believe that this one and one of the other ones. I think the next set has a red roof too, maybe. Anyways, red roofs were reported, which is weird. Like, is it going to be a special piece or is it just going to be a red roof on a chicken coop? I don't know. But it comes with a chicken and an egg. That's probably like a $10 set. Easy, right? There's a 200 piece set, I believe. No, it's a 300 piece set. I don't know. There's a 200 and a 300. Now, the 300, I believe, was going to be. The 300 was like a farm tractor and a house or a barn or something and some figures. No, this is the 200. Anyways, there's one that's going to have like one animal with it, and then there's one that's going to have a bunch of animals in it. And I think it was like a 200 piece set, but it's going to be expensive as hell if it comes with these animals. It's saying that it's going to have a black and white spotted cow, which we haven't seen the cow mold in a couple years. It's going to have the sheep. It's going to have a baby sheep, like a lamb mold. Did I say baby cow? It's going to have cow, baby pig, sheep, baby sheep, and some minifigures, and of course like a build along with it. And I'm like, that's a wild set to be predicting. And we just got the sheep mold. This will be the second time we'll have seen the sheep mold, and we're already getting a baby sheep, and we're getting a baby cow, and we're getting a baby pig. We haven't seen the pig mold in a little bit. It was on the pick a brick. No, it was on the build a minifigure sometime last year, I believe. In select parts of the world. But the point being is that we haven't seen the pig in a little while. We haven't seen the cow in a little while. We haven't seen the sheep again since that Mickey set. I did buy several from Lego directly of the sheeps so that I had them, and I'm not going to regret them if they come out in more sets. Like, don't get me wrong, I might collect them, and especially if there's variations like prints or different colors. Count me interested, honestly, but we'll see how that all plays out. But the thing is that like that's a wild leak to come out, is that it's going to have all these baby animals, and like that seems to me to be a poor choice, because I would, if hi me you know Lego knowledge man, I would have put them in different sets. I would have made the chicken coop come with the chicken and a egg, and I would have made the second set come with the cow and the baby cow, and then you put the pig and the piglet and the sheep and the baby sheep in one set. Spread them out a little bit more. You know, I will be very interested to see if those come out. I would probably be interested in picking them up because I don't own an official Lego cow. I own one of, before Lego made cows, I got a third party cow that was custom, and it was a big black cow, and I got the big horns for it, and it was very cool. One of my favorite figures rode around on it because it had like the hole for the saddle like the real cow does. And it was fun. It was a good time as a child. I remember currently I wouldn't be as much. I think I have it somewhere. I saw it not that long ago, I think. I'm not into using the third party parts mixed in with my Lego, but it's always fun seeing what third party companies are making, and knockoffs, of course, are making. And I think it's a fun comparison of like, well, Lego could obviously do this because this random company at the dollar store is doing this, or these people in their garage are making this. So it's interesting to take a look at that. And I guarantee half of these companies have variations on the pig and on the cow and the sheep, and probably some of them even are making goats that Lego's not making. It's also in the rumor, they specifically said there are no Lego goats in the farming thing because Lego said that mold is gone. Don't know why they can't make more, because they make more molds of things sometimes, as far as I'm aware, but they aren't, and whatever, that's fine. Point is I would like to get a cow. So very interested in seeing that farming theme. We'll see how it comes out. And again, supposedly the 3 sets that were in the leak that I saw were it was just a text post with like things that had no pictures. It was just a description of the sets. They were fairly small. They were 100, 200, 300-ish piece sets. So I would say $30 tops feels right, but it'll probably end up being $35, $40 for the bigger one, especially if it comes with a bunch of animals and stuff. So I think that's you know, it's an interesting thing when we talk about leaks. That's kind of all I got to say about that. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, I would love to hear from you. If you've got someone that you think I should invite on the podcast, let me know about that. I've got a whole new recording setup, and hopefully this episode sounds great and fine, and everyone loves that. But the point is, the new setup should allow me to invite guests. I'm using Zencaster. It was recommended to me, and it seems fairly nice. It can invite up to 10 people and have this kind of a seamless podcast experience potentially. And then also I don't know where you're listening to this, but it's available on YouTube always, and it should be on other platforms eventually. I'm working on that whole thing, so we'll see how that all turns out. 2022 though, fresh year. So I'm gonna sneak this in here at the end. It wasn't even written down in my docket, but I will be talking about it because it's interesting to me, and we got a little bit of time left before the hour is over. Is my plans for 2022 are I'm gonna go a holistic, self-sustaining Lego budget, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I'm going to um, I'm already in the negative, mind you. I've bought Lego this year and I've got no income in the Lego budget. I'll keep you updated on this at some point. It might be in the podcast, it might be on the regular Pro Lego channel. But the plan is to only use money I make off of my social medias about Lego, which that's my social medias. I'm on YouTube and Hideout TV. If you're looking for Lego content on Hideout on TV. And then, like I said, we're looking to get the podcast on some other platforms. And of course, I have a Bricklink store that I link sometimes. You probably know about that already. And so I'm going to be, so, anything I sell on Bricklink ideally goes back into the Bricklink store, but I could potentially use some of that budget or potentially use pieces from my Bricklink store because those are kind of like low cost pieces for me. But basically, the income from my 2 video channels is going to be the majority of my Lego budget. I'm around $50 into Lego this year, which isn't bad. It's not terribly bad. And I believe, and so when I get paid from YouTube, YouTube comes in $100 checks at the minimum, and they pay out once a month ish. And if you don't have enough money, they don't pay you. Um, so I'll be getting my like end of the year check from Lego, and that'll be a couple months there. Big shout out to the members of the channel, by the way, for pushing those earnings numbers up. Thank you guys. And then I've got like $25 or $30 on Hideout that'll be paid out when it hits 50. So I'll at some point soon I'll get those payouts, and hopefully before I spend all of the money. But basically, my plan is this year is to try and do it holistically, do a couple more live streams, potentially some premieres, and the people that super chat and stuff. Money can go into my Lego budget, and basically make it self-sustaining. Just I'll probably end up, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and then we always do it, is I'll probably end up having some sets at the end of the year, and I'll be like, well, I'm just gonna buy them, and the budget's gonna be damned. But that's best laid plans and all that. So if you've got a Lego budget idea, or if you've got some silly way for me to extend my budget, let me know. That'd be fun. Again, if you've got someone that wants to be on the podcast or someone you think should be on the podcast, contact me. It's prolegochannel at gmail. I'm always I'm always there. And hopefully I'll get, maybe we'll see you a little sooner next time than we did last time for Sad Klocki Hour number 6. Anyways, You guys have been great, lovely audience as always, and I will ask you to please support your local Lego channel, which I'm one of your local Lego channels. Goodbye.